Hey YouTube, it's me, Briana. So ironically, today's video is about perfectionism, and that's ironic because I'm filming this video on Thursday. I normally film my videos on Monday, but literally nothing has gone according to plan this week. As you can see, my bed is a mess, my floor is a mess, and I'm not wearing eyeliner. Also, I don't have a script for this video. I'm just going to wing it and see what happens. So perfectionism is a big problem that I know a lot of writers suffer from, including myself. For me, perfectionism feeds into my own self-criticism and my anxiety, and then all that tends to cycle through and filter into my depression, and it's just a really disgusting, vicious mental health cycle. For example, my perfectionism often leads me to not get things done, and then when I don't get things done, I feel shitty about myself. When I feel shitty about myself, that makes me depressed. When I'm depressed, I feel even more shitty about myself, and you get the picture. The thing about perfectionism is that it doesn't really make sense when you break it down. I mean, of course we want everything in our lives to be perfect, but nothing ever is. Also, nothing ever can be. So when you think about it, our pursuit of perfectionism is ultimately fruitless. Just doesn't make any sense. On top of that, perfectionism leads to overall lack of productivity and just general feelings of malaise. I know there are so many projects I've abandoned just because I couldn't figure out how to make them work, or I couldn't make them work in the way that I thought they had to work. Because of my perfectionist tendencies, that means I often abandon things that could have been fine if I had just seen them through. These projects were just cast aside because they didn't measure up to my internal vision, not because they weren't good in their own right. One of my main focuses as a writer this year is to push past perfectionism. One of my favorite quotes has always been, "Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good," and although I can't remember what source that comes from, it's a quote I definitely reference almost every day. The idea here is that it's better to make some progress than no progress. Even if your result is less than ideal, it's a result. And hey, that's better than what you had in the beginning. Especially when it comes to novels. I know a lot of people struggle with a first draft or a second draft or a final draft because it just doesn't measure up to the product in their head. Especially for a first draft, this can be problematic because the goal of a first draft is just to get the words down on the paper, not to get them right. After all, you can always go back into a revision and make the changes as you see fit, and, it's a lot easier to edit a broken page than a blank one. I wish I could give you guys some tips for overcoming perfectionism, but as it is something I am currently struggling with, all I want to say is that you're not alone. I also want you to know that you can finish things in spite of your perfectionism. You can finish a book, and no, it might not be the perfect masterpiece that you saw in your head 3 months ago before you started drafting, but it will be great. You shouldn't avoid doing things just because you don't think you can do them right. After all, right is subjective. That's all the time I have for today. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to comment, thumbs up, and subscribe, and leave a comment below letting me know what your tips are for fighting perfectionism. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next week. Bye!